my basic point is that it's difficult to accept it, but data are a vast and impenetrable domain. And we have to accept, this does not mean some cheap relativism, that we always approach data from what philosophical hermeneutics calls a certain horizon of understanding, privileging some data and omitting others. All our histories are precisely that, stories, a combination of selected data into consistent narratives. For example, I will give you a provocative example. Don't be afraid, my conclusion will not be relativist. I can write a book and I can guarantee you every detail will be, all data will be true, convincingly demonstrating that Hitler was justified in bemoaning the excessive influence of Jews in Germany in the late 20s and early 1930s. It's simply true. 40% of lawyers in Germany, at least in big cities, were Jews. Jews were extraordinarily influential in cinema, as journalists, and so on, in art, and so on, and so on. So, again, all these data are true. And what should we do? If you say, but we need other data, which are more valid, and so on, you already need a certain theoretical frame to say this, and we should say this. That would be my point. Let me repeat another old story of mine that I like to repeat. I'm sorry if you heard it. I think it's extremely useful precisely today. This Lacan's, Jacques Lacan's, my psychoanalytic teacher, paradoxical statement, but very precise, that imagine, I'm sorry for the male chauvinist twist of this statement, imagine a husband who is pathologically jealous of his wife, obsessed with the idea that she is all the time sleeping around with other men and so on. And Lacan says something wonderful. He says his jealousy is pathological, even if everything that he says is true about his wife. Why? Simply because the true question is not, is his wife really like that? The true question is, and therein resides the pathology, why does he need jealousy to sustain his self-identity? And it's the same with Jews for the fascists. Don't misunderstand me. Of course, they are mostly telling lies. But I'm saying the moment you accept debate at this level, and aren't Germans exaggerating a little bit? Jews are not really like that. You sell your soul to the devil. Because the point is not, are Jews really like that? The point is, why do the Nazis, in order to sustain their vision of society, organic community where antagonisms can explode only if they are imported by foreign bodies from outside, why do they need the figure of the Jew to maintain their vision of society? So that's my point here. The most efficient lies are lies with truth, lies which reproduce only factual data. I'm not saying by this that truth should be relativized. I mean, Holocaust happened, absolutely, no doubt. I'm just saying that in a proper dialectical approach, it's wrong to oppose in this rude way the data and our interpretation of them. The correct horizon, conceptual field, and so on, from which we interpret data is not just our subjective choice. It's part of the object itself. This is a very Hegelian notion that how we read facts, it's not our subjectivity, it's inscribed into facts themselves. In what sense? Let's take precisely anti-Semitism. The way you interpret the presence of Jews in Germany in the late 1920s. Either you say, oh, these are foreigners who destroy our community, or you say, fascists construct them as threat to justify their dictatorship and so on. This is precisely conditioned by the objective social situation of those who read the data, in this way. What this approach enables us, for example, apropos of anti-Semitism, is to say, and here I avoid relativism, anti-Semitism, for this reason, and other racisms, don't be afraid, I'm critical of Zionism and so on, very much. Probably they will prohibit me to enter Israel soon. I support, in a very moderate way, BDS, but I'm totally allergic, because we do have it now in Europe, real old-fashioned anti-Semitism again. What I'm saying is that anti-Semitism is wrong a priori, formally, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? It's not a question of, okay, Hitler was a little bit right, maybe there were too many Jews in culture, whatever, among journalists, but he exaggerated. No, he was absolutely wrong. In what sense? Wrong not because how he distorted facts. He was wrong even if he didn't, but he did distort facts. He was wrong because the way he used facts was in order to sustain a general lie about society, obfuscating its antagonisms and so on and so on. So this is a very dialectical notion of truth, but not mystical, that, again, you can use correct data to serve a lie. And how do you measure? Now you will tell me, okay, but I am naive here. How do I know what is lie and what is not? Don't I reserve for myself the position of standing outside and, oh, I know this is a lie? No, I can measure it immanently. If you analyze closely the Nazi edifice, you can see that their anti-Semitism is immanently a lie. Immanently in the sense that it obfuscates certain social antagonisms, and this obfuscation is inscribed into the very way they formulate anti-Semitism, and so on and so on.